welcome to the Everyone Active podcast. I am your host, Jo, and I'm flying solo today because Michelle is again around the country training other instructors. But today, team, I am joined by an amazing guest. We are welcoming Kate, the General Manager, hi Kate, of the Auburn Arena and also the Eric Morecambe Centre. And they are both theatres that fall under Everyone Theatres. Kate, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's so fun to be here.
Oh
my gosh.
Yes. Can you let our listeners know a little bit about you and definitely about the role of a general manager of two big sites? That's pretty huge.
It's kind of mad. Yeah, it is mad. So a bit about myself. So I'm one of those people who have accidentally always worked in theatre. It's never really was my ambition because I decided I was going to try and do an academic degree and go down that route, a very traditional thing. And here I am, 12 years later, never not working in theatre. Grew up in theatre, did all the kind of youth theatre things, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, and the importance of youth theatre, and kind of as a massive platform to grow your confidence. And then I stewarded, I duty managed, and then I fell into my first general manager role at 21, which was very young to be running a theatre. And then ever since then, I've worked in Durham, in Yorkshire, in the southeast of London. So my accent's all a bit all over the place. and then this fantastic opportunity came up to obviously be general manager of both theatres, which is incredible. So yes, my day-to-day is immensely different.
I bet it absolutely is. Honestly, thank you for taking time out to come and to be here.
It's a lot of
Can
fun.
you tell us a little bit about Everyone Theatres? Like how many are in the group? Where are they in the country?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's an interesting branch of Everyone Active because obviously Everyone Active is a kind of key operator, does these amazing things, transforming leisure centres and working with communities. As part of those kind of operations, I guess, as part of those kind of contracts, theatres can fall under it. So what Everyone Active has done is that it's slightly amended how it operates and that it's still Everyone Active, but we are under the guise of Everyone Theatres, which I do think for our audiences hopefully makes more sense. If you're walking into a theatre and you're being told you're going to be active, I think I would turn around and leave. So Everyone Theatres is very much a kind of brand that we've created to really identify what we're doing with these communities. So it is phenomenal. So there is now 5 theatres in the group, which is brilliant.
Wow. Where are they?
Well, they're all actually quite close together, which does make commuting a treat. And I don't think it was ever intended to be that way, but it just so happened. So the Auburn Arena in St Albans and the Eric Morecambe Centre in Harpenden were actually the first ones. So, I'm going to give a little wave to my team over there for being number one. And then very quickly, we were then joined by the Grove in Dunstable and the Gordon Craig in Stevenage and the Leighton Buzzard Library Theatre in Leighton Buzzard. So there's 5 now. So they're kind of all in this kind of southeast area in Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire, and doing really exciting, similar and yet also different things in each one.
That's amazing. And I guess it's kind of interesting with being close in terms of programming with what's happening in them because there's such a wide variety, which I really want to go into. We can talk about theatre. Let's talk about theatre to start off with. So we're going to talk about the pantomimes, we'll talk about the live shows, but there is such a plethora of community hubs of everything going on in these theatres that I really want to drill into today with you. Can you just tell me the main pantomimes that have got going on this year in our theatres?
Absolutely. Well, pantomime for us is obviously such a key thing. And it's a key thing for, I'm sure, many of our listeners. I'm sure most people's first experience of theatre was their pantomime. It might have been your village pantomime. It might have been your town pantomime. But it's where youngsters and older generation, everyone collide in this beautiful, colossal, messy magic that is the annual tradition. Yes. And honestly, it's phenomenal to be part of that and to continue that kind of tradition as well, I would say. So going on this year, we've got Aladdin in St Albans. We've got Jack and the Beanstalk in the Eric Morecambe Centre. We've got Peter Pan in the Grove. We've got Dick Whittington and his cat in Stevenage in the Gordon Craig. So we've kind of got 4 different ones and a variety of all of them.
I've got so many theatre lines going through my head with it's behind you and oh no we didn't.
It took everything for me to say, oh no we haven't. And I thought rein it in.
Don't. Please feel free to go ahead. So theoretically though, over Christmas time, do they start in November?
Well, Stevenage does, yeah. Stevenage has an incredibly long run. So Stevenage starts in November and ends in January as well. It runs for almost 3 months straight.
Wow.
And is a terrific production as well. It's a real co-production between Jordan's Productions and also the team at the Gordon Craig, who are the most incredible workshop. So they actually help build and kind of create the sets together. So it's a real spectacular production in the Gordon Craig. It's a fabulous show, as is all of them, I will say. We also work with Evolution Productions, who produce the pantomime at the Auburn Arena and at the Grove, and Polka Dot Pantos, who run at the Eric Morecambe Centre.
That is phenomenal. So bringing again in other experts to help work with
Absolutely,
the team there.
yes.
And I still love going to a good old Christmas pantomime. But the production that goes behind it is huge.
It is all year round.
And let's start now. We're in summer and you've already started the promoting. The teams are already in. They're already learning their lines. From a day-to-day operational, how does that look? Because we're filming this in summer months, but we're talking about Christmas productions already.
I know. It was honestly hilarious. We actually put a Christmas tree up last week.
I'm sorry, you did what?
We did. So we got a Christmas tree up because we have the panto cast who come and do a launch day. So this is the same for all of the pantos, not just at the Eric Morecambe Centre. But the Eric Morecambe Centre last week, we had the whole cast in their full outfits, walking around town, taking lots of photographs, and all of those photographs will then go into this massive marketing campaign spread out. But yeah, it did mean we were putting up a Christmas tree and decorating it, which was on 30-degree heat as well in this heat wave. It was wild. Just another day.
Oh my goodness. So even before then, you've got your cast confirmed. So the production must have started way back, maybe even spring. So you've come out of panto season to go pretty much straight back into it.
Yeah, honestly, it's amazing. You kind of do a quick debrief in kind of January, February, but they would have cast it by March, and then you go into next year almost immediately. And you're kind of doing all your reflections, you're working on what worked, what didn't work, you're learning all these lessons, and then you're immediately implementing them back into the marketing. You're getting the schools, because obviously we need to confirm the school shows, how many schools are coming, and that's a massive feat to work out which community groups and when, at the programme of the timings and ticket sales. And
Can you just explain that a little bit more? Does that mean that you've got you book in certain schools? So you work with the local authority, or work direct with the schools?
Directly with schools normally. We've got ones that come absolutely every single year, and they know what date they like to come on. So actually, shout out now to the Scouts group in St Albans. But the opening day of the St Albans, they are there. And whatever the open day is, I think they almost entirely book out the theatre. And it's incredible because at the end, and everyone's clapping, and the encore and the curtain raises, and as the lights go up, they do a Oggy, Oggy, Oggy shout. And it's incredible. And it's such a wonderful tradition. They're a real staple, and it's so important because there's some people who go to the panto with their families, and it's like a tradition to go on Christmas Eve or Boxing Day. But a lot of people in schools they might not have that tradition, but it's that opportunity as well to go out, watch the local show, and see how it is, and go with your whole school. So we have whole shows that aren't open to the public but are just school shows. So they tend to be your mornings and your matinees during the week. But they come in coach loads and deliver us all these children who scream and shout and get sweets thrown at them on a Monday, which is great for them.
I'm sure the parents appreciate it.
I bet they do. I bet the teachers do as well.
It is. It's beautiful to see, because I work very closely to one of the theatres, and it's lovely when I'm walking to work and the whole of the foyer and the stairs leading up is and the buzz of excitement. And I suppose it could be the first experience of that theatre magic for a lot of smaller children.
Yes.
And then that, much like you, might just stay with them, and who knows?
Well, absolutely. And I think it's something so inherent as well, because I think we're so focused on media nowadays and kids. I mean, they've grown up in such a different digital age to us in terms of TV and phones and accessibility to digital. It's so important to get them in those live experiences in this room full of people, so you've got that kind of reaction and action and being in the moment. Away from your phone.
100%. And with everyone active, like one of our key pillars and one of our movers is social wellness.
Yes.
And theatres are the personification really of social wellness, because it's bringing together sometimes strangers, it's bringing together families, it's bringing together a whole community. And just on that note, that's where I want to go with you next. So we've done our big pantomime and big productions. From a community perspective, our theatres open up doors for different demographics, different ages, different everything. What's the aim of the theatre?
Oh, what a big question. It's interesting, obviously, because we can look at this from kind of everyone theatres, and that's the 5 theatres that we're talking about today. But really, that is every theatre around the country. There's this huge social ambition and this is social drive, really, which is to get people out of their homes or even to bring it to them as well. That's something that, you know, a lot of theatres are doing. It's incredible. And it's about creating these kind of magical moments. It's about instilling and reacting to moments. So it's about, you know, going to the theatre can make you cry. It could be really, you know, cathartic in that sense, but also it could be funny and it could be escapism and it could be wonder and it could enlighten something different. So there's a real experience to the people who watch it and a real experience to, again, that kind of escapism, that kind of losing your sense in a crowd, being with people, being on your own even. You know, it can be such a transformative experience to use art in that way and live performance art in particular as well. And just the kind of social well-being with your brain to kind of, you know, empathy and listening and focusing and all of that is so tapped into being an audience member, but it's also being into a performer as well from a different side. You know, if you're a performer, although it's not traditional exercise, you are, you know, you're moving, you're thinking about your connection with your brain and your body, your breath, your speech, you know, your eye contact even. It can be really specific, and it's about kind of, again, stepping slightly away from buzzy noise and just stripping it back down to being human and what it is to be that and how you present yourself. And you know, if that's singing a silly song or if that is performing Hamlet, you know, they're really important to kind of, connect your body and your brain and to kind of...
Absolutely. I love the magic of theatre. I've always, and I can remember from Diddy being taken to like our local pantomime at like the village hall, but also I remember I was 5 years old and got taken by train to the Royal Albert Hall to see a Christmas pantomime there. I was like, it was just like, it's just it's such a special kind of magic. But it's also the magic where strangers can literally be sitting next to each other and not feel uncomfortable. Yeah. Because you're all part of this hub that's going on. And all day long, if you've never been to a pantomime or indeed a big musical theatre production, head down. Now, I know musical theatre is not the only thing we have on the stages. Talk to me about other guests, other type shows that are on.
It's a massive variety. So all the theatres have a real big variety. You spoke earlier about what's it like programming. So obviously they're all quite close together, and that's a real benefit to us to try and separate where we can with the national tours, so that Stilling and Stevenage isn't on as close to that, which is a luxury that a lot of theatres don't have. A lot of theatres just have to say, we'll try and be far apart. But it's a real variety as well, I would say, and it just depends on what you're after. So, you know, for example, it's everything from your really big touring comedians. You've got, you know, we've had a couple of Ricky Gervais dates, Jimmy Carr, Harry Hill, Dara O'Brien, Rod Gilbert, Sarah Milligan. I can keep going. But, you know, you've got this kind of fantastic national tours because these theatres are, you know, some that, you know, you've got 850 seats, 700 seats, 511 seats. You've got some decent sized venues as well. So you're able to attract some amazing national icons, really, which is fantastic. And I would say on the other side of the spectrum, you've got, you know, your community hires, which is so important. It's your local dance group. So it might be where, you know, you see kids perform on stage for the first time. The little ballerinas are absolutely adorable. And you can see, you know, choirs and things like that, or dance or acting as well. We do a fantastic amount of work with our local amateur dramatic groups, which are terrific.
Spoken about community groups on stage doing dances, but are there choirs? Do they sing also in the theatre as well? What else from a community perspective happens?
So there's so much. It's incredible, the ingenuity of the community groups that we work with, and they are absolutely amazing as well. And it's so important to be a community hub, and that's exactly what a theatre should be. A theatre should be a place where, you know, you can see the best of the best touring shows, but also you can participate. You can be on stage, or you can watch your friends on stage, or you can come in for a coffee. You know, it really needs to be that community space for artwork and things like that. We're also really lucky, you know, particularly at Eric Morecambe Centre, we've got Arts on Prescription, which is a fantastic project where we work with local GPs and GP referral who come and they work with, you know, certain members of our society who might need some extra support, who might need some social wellness. And it is Arts on Prescription. It is an opportunity to sit down once a week with people who are in perhaps similar situations or however, to do incredible artwork, to be led by practitioners, and to kind of, again, it's a social well-being of doing projects and mindfulness of art and that kind of well-being aspect of that, which is phenomenal.
How does that look on a day? So people are literally coming in and they're drawing arts together.
Yeah, and it's really different as well. Each session's completely different as well. We do that in partnership with the Harpenden Trust, who are absolutely phenomenal in this town as well. Huge shout out to them. But it's a really interesting kind of social project as well, I would say, and the importance of, that kind of community aspect, that creativity, and tapping into kind of, it can be anything, we get referrals for all sorts of, private reasons, but it's just about that connectivity that you can get through creativity.
That is amazing. And I absolutely agree with you. Theatres are a hub of the community. Is there now, though, more of a pressure? Because we've spoken about earlier when we were talking about pantomimes, is that there's a box that now people can watch 24/7, or there's a piece of tech at the end of somebody's hand that people can get info from 24/7. Is there pressure on theatres to kind of absolutely not fight against that, but still welcome people to say, do you know what, this is live? But they must also, it's an expensive building to run. There's a lot of structure and engineering and tech in it. Is that a pressure on theatres that you have to kind of think, okay, well, we are part of the community and we need to encourage the community in. So do you have to think now a little bit, I suppose, outside the box to counteract against the box?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's really important, and I don't think theatres are guilty of this, but I think it's important no one can become reliant. You can't just sit there and expect audience to come to you, because exactly as you say, you've got the world of convenience now at your fingertips. And although we all go, yes, theatre is this amazing, emotional, you can say that till the cows come home. But what about, your first generation of people who've never gone to the theatre, or people who, especially after COVID, actually in particular, it's scary going back into a dark room filled with people and germs and air and cold, and it's hot sometimes, or it's a dance show or whatever, you're all moving around. That there's a lot of threshold fear, I would say, is really important. So I think it's true. I think theatre around the country actually having to be more adaptive, and that's things like looking at working with the screenings. For example, the Grove does fantastic screenings of the National Theatre and projects like that. So actually, if you wanted that digital, you can experience that. And Leighton Buzzard Library Theatre do fantastic cinema shows as well. So there's something for you there as well, which is great. But I think it's about getting out there and doing things as well with the town. So I think it's something that, for example, I know Stevenage Carnival Days, and they do that with their lights switch on as well, and make sure that, you're kind of creating these immersive experiences with people. And I will always say to our team in St Albans and in Harpenden that your experience of the theatre starts the minute you want to buy a ticket. It's when you click on that website, it's when you walk through those doors. It's about getting a really nice drink that maybe you don't get everywhere. And it's about a different kind of customer service. It's about a lovely seated experience, about a programme. It's about the merchandise. It's about all of those things. And about as soon as they walk through that door, having that experience, because experiences are everything, Think about all the immersive stuff that's going on at the minute. And it's no wonder that's taking off, because you can just sit and let your internet give you whatever you want on your phone as you're scrolling, or you can have this really delivered experience to have a night out and explore something you might not have done previously.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so important as well for us as humans, because we've got an innate connection with nature, but we've got an innate connection with each other. And it is that buzz and that safe space. Now, I know over at the Eric Morecambe that you also open your studio doors. So you're not just a theatre, a big theatre, but you've got a community cafe.
We are indeed.
Got different studios that you have, maybe, I think, mum and toddler groups on over there?
Yeah, we
Can
do.
you talk to us about that?
Of course. And it's fascinating, isn't it? Because it's just, again, it's about that theatre being that community hub. And we're very blessed with the Eric Morecambe Centre in particular, because it's quite a new build. Obviously, it used to be the leisure centre, which is kind of brilliant that you're sat now in the theatre. I think it used to be a badminton court. Bit bizarre, but hey, we make it work. Theatre is anything if not resilient. Yes. But no, it's a fantastic space, because we've got a very small little cafe offering as well, and it's got a pay it forward system as well, so you can come in and you can also get a free drink that someone else has paid, or if you're feeling particularly flush with cash, maybe it's payday, you can buy a drink or some snack for someone else. And we have that people come in, very often it's families who are a bit stressed, or turns out the kid isn't feeling very well today, and they can just get a free hot drink, or they can just chat, or get a snack or something like that, and it's so that someone else has done for someone else, and then they can come back and repay the favour if you like. So like community cafe, it's just a quiet space. It's an opportunity for people to come do some work. Sometimes you have some people crack up with their laptops, or a quiet space, or a space of classes as well. And yes, the function rooms, we've got 2 fantastic studios, and we've got all sorts, everything from Toddlers group, ballet groups. We've got a salsa class in the evenings as well, which are tremendous. We've got some Zumba going on there. We've got all sorts of kind of different kind of activities as well. So arts on prescription. It's also high real times. We have kids dance parties there. And it's honestly, it's absolutely all sorts. So it's absolutely fantastic kind of space. And at the area of Morecambe Centre, we've also got our History Society. We have Harpenden Museum, which is fantastic. It is open 3 days a week and is well worth a look as well for kind of social history and your local history as well. And they've got some amazing artefacts. And the volunteers who run it are so enthusiastic and knowledgeable. It's a real kind of building for lots of people. We've also got art exhibitions as well with the Harpenden Arts Club and Hearts Visual Arts. And we've also got pop-up exhibitions in the foyer, which change once a month.
So this is phenomenal. I love how creative the building is to try and draw in different people from the community, but also keep people coming back. Like every time I walk in there, I'm like, oh, there are different paintings in here. And it's just so fascinating to watch and look at. The other theatres in the Everyone Theatres, do they also have a form of like a community cafe, or is it specifically over at the Morecambe?
It really depends on the geography of the building, I would say. So, Stevenage is a great example. It's actually connected to the Everyone Active Gym. So, you can go and have a great workout session. But actually, the place that you'll go for a cafe after your workout session is actually the theatre bar. So it kind of doubles up as a theatre bar and also as a place after an exercise to have a drink. So it's very interesting that you've kind of got these cafe social hubs connected to sport and sometimes not connected but connected to the theatre as well. So it really depends on the kind of layout of each building, really, I'd say.
That's totally understandable. Can I talk a little bit about the team that works in the theatre? So we've got people that wanted to know about the theatre, but also we are Everyone Active. So there's lots of people from lots of diverse backgrounds, and there's people who want to come to train, but absolutely there's people that probably also be like, I also am now thinking about theatre, or my child is growing through their GCSEs, and are there opportunities? Theatre, as you've described earlier, and I could smell a theatre and I was immersed in there. You meet so many different personalities, but there are so many different personalities that go up to make your team, from techs through to front of house. Can you just talk about all the key members that are within a theatre to make it run?
It's honestly, I often say that, a theatre is a space and a theatre is a stage and it's a seats and it's but actually a theatre is a team of people. So you've kind of got two halves to it, I'd say. You've got your kind of back of house team and your kind of theatre venue team, and then you've got your visiting show team as well. So you've kind of got two. So from our venue's perspective, I am absolutely, I work with the most amazing team possible. Honestly, I cannot give them the biggest enough shout out. They are experts in the individual fields. And really different personalities and really different people to run their own departments. So in terms of departments, and you'll find this in all the theatres as well, but just specifically for Everyone Theatres, I guess. You've got a box office kind of team. Obviously, look after your ticketing, you've got your front of house, so look after your ushers and your bar and your stewarding and merchandise and things like that. Duty managers who literally call the show. And then you've got your technical team, which can be everything from, you can have people who specialise in lighting, sound, stage, building, backstage, flies as well. So obviously you're flying people sometimes, set, all sorts. So
oh my goodness, now you've said that. Like, yes.
So a real kind of variety from that kind of tech side. And then again, it's them who work in collaboration with the kind of front of house people who'll then call the show. So you kind of have clearance for this and then box office clearance for that, and it's that constant communication to make it work.
And I guess that happens regardless of if it's a 500 people pantomime going on or down to 150 school children dance show.
Well, it's so funny, we actually did a conference the other day, and it was kind of it was just a normal conference really, and actually we turned around to each other and went, that's just a show, because it's exactly the same. We are so used to going, the house is yours, I guess your 5-minute warning, beginners to the stage, no problem, you've got clearance, there's front of house, that's the interval, the second act is up. You're still using this lingo even though it's a conference and we're all kind of laughing at each other. But no, it takes a huge behind the scenes, because obviously you've got a fantastic marketing team as well who work across all the venues. And you've got a technical manager who works across all the venues as well. You've got finance and admin as well to make sure that everything gets invoiced and settled and managed, and operations as well, operations managers who help run the health and safety and the compliance. And it is, a theatre is not just that building, it is the team of people who are there to kind of facilitate everyone from, like a professional comedian or whatever who comes in, who's just another one of their theatres that they're in a long list of theatres they're touring with, Or if it is, you know, someone's dance school and they've never put on a show before in a theatre, then it's the first time that maybe the kids are performing such a big stage because they're so used to a smaller studio for rehearsals. And it's so important that you treat all of them with respect, but also just with kind of support as well. And it's what our team love to do. You will never meet, well, maybe Will and Leisure in sports, but I swear you will never meet a more dedicated team of people who care so much about what they do. Yeah. It's phenomenal.
I think that's why the synergy of Everyone Active and Everyone Theatres works so well. Like, it is about the team, but it's the team and we are giving to that community. We want to make that community feel valued, seen, heard, displayed. And I
think it's about pride as well, and it's about being proud of where you work, and you go to work and you know you're doing something important. And I feel that our team has that in waves, and I think I got my first taste of it 2 years ago. Actually, I was in a supermarket, shan't say which one, but anyway, I went in and I was wearing my uniform, I was wearing my jacket. It was a bit cold, and I had the logos of the Auburn Arena and the Eric Morecambe Centre, and someone tapped me on the back and they turned around to me and they went, "Oh, Auburn Arena, what's the panto this year?" And thankfully I knew what the panto was that year because I'd only been there a week. So I was able to kind of say it. But I had this first moment of someone recognise me. I was shopping, just out and about shopping. But that passion that person had, that wanted to talk to me about the theatre and how important it was to that individual. And it just really cemented the importance of theatre within your communities and how much it, you know, reflects everything.
It's like you were tapped into my head then, because I'm literally sitting here and then I'm like, I wonder what one of Kate's favourite moments in theatre actually is. Have you got any stories that really shine out on you, either from a production point of view, or you know that you've literally changed potentially somebody's life? Do you have stories that jump out at you?
That's a really big question. There's so many. I think one that I'll always remember was actually, obviously we have so many people come to the theatre, I will say. You know, you've got tens of thousands of people, really. If you think about all 5 theatres in particular, even more than that, really. Yeah. And the number of ticket sales and the kind of what that looks like. We had this one individual who is actually specifically in Sew Buttons, who contacted our box office because a friend of theirs really wanted to go to theatre, but was actually in hospice, and it was really important for them to kind of see a certain show they really wanted to see. It was like a country night, basically, country music. And our box office team did absolutely everything to get them into theatre, because it was quite unorthodox, because they had 2 different carers and supports with them. They had oxygen tanks. They had a lot of complicated requirements to get them into the theatre and for what they needed to enjoy the show. But the fact that we managed that, we got them in, and we had to change around a little things. We gave him a shout out on the stage, I think, because the artist found out about the fact that he was here especially for it. And being able to really make someone's experience mattered so much to us and our team. But also I like to hope for the person who came as well, because, you know, for them it was an important night out. It was something different for them to experience, something they really wanted to as well. And I think that will really stick with me, with their experience of how much I think they really enjoyed the show.
Absolutely.
But how much, you know, I think we dropped everything to try and make sure that they could get to theatre. And that is genuinely so important to us, because theatre, I say, it's got a threshold fear of people who might not have been there before, but also, you know, it's access as well. It's unusual. If you're coming to theatre, you know, perhaps you're a wheelchair user, or perhaps you're neurodivergent, you know, you need to know about the spaces that you're in. You need to know where the quiet places are, if it's step friendly, if it's not. And there's so many little things I think people forget about. Yep. And that is something our box office teams, our access teams, are so empowered to have a look at and to kind of see things through their eyes and just make sure that we're being as supportive and inclusive as possible. But yeah, that's
I love that story. I love that story. Team, honestly, what an absolute joy it is to have Kate here, and thank you for sharing such an experience and so much knowledge with us. We will obviously link the theatres to the bottom of these podcasts, but can you just give your top tips for a new theatre goer, somebody that's listened to this and gone, yeah, actually I'm either going to take my family, or I'm happy and I feel safe, I'm going to go by myself. What are top tips to a new theatre user?
Great question. I would definitely say find something to watch that you really want to watch, you know, that, and don't feel shy about that. You know, I think it's something really important actually about live music experience. And some people can get a bit, oh, well, I don't want to see a tribute and but there's something fantastic about, if you love that band and, you know, Freddie Mercury, bless him, isn't with us anymore, but you want to go see Queen, go. And I just think there's something really important about, you know, if you enjoy that and if you're interested in that, if that's music, if that's comedy, if that's dance, or straight pit if there's a play, for example, you know, like The Last Laugh, which is touring nationally but started at the area Morecambe Centre. You know, if there's something like that that interests you, just go. And I think book something that you want to see. I think also don't be afraid to ask questions as well. So if you've got questions about the ticket, you know, you can always call at the box office at any theatre. And just ask if there's any particular access requirements that you've got, or if you've just got questions about the venue, they will always be happy to help as well. I would also say get there, have a look online beforehand. A lot of theatres do really great walkthroughs. So actually, I think our theatres has a click-through. So you can actually literally go from the box office, follow the foyer, go down the stairs or up the stairs, and you know, you can go into the theatre, look at your seats, see what they look like, see the views like from the seats. So you can kind of also have that experience before you step through the door, and get there early. And I mean that. Sometimes you can have, I mean, it's rare because our box office team are incredible at getting people through, but get there a little bit early so that you're not feeling rushed, you're not feeling stressed. It will start at 7:30 or whatever time it says on your ticket. So get there in advance, because then also you're not worried. You can take your seat, you can enjoy, you know, a drink or an ice cream or anything like that, and just enjoy being in that surroundings. Listen to people, listen to the buzz of the people around you, and just breathe and just relax. Like, let yourself switch off from the day-to-day noise, and there's so much noise, and just give in to whatever experience that is. Like, say, if that's music or if that's comedy or whatever, switch your phone off, go by yourself, go with your family, and just take a moment and just let yourself be entertained.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I'm buzzing. I want to go and book something to go and watch now. Kate, thank you so much for your time. Team, as always, if you've got any questions in regard to Everyone Theatres or anything that's coming up within the theatre, please feel free to email us at podcast@everyoneactive.com, and I will ensure they get over to Kate and we can get those answers to you. This is a lovely, lovely podcast. Please make sure you review, you share, you give us some positive ratings. And Kate, thank you once again for being here.
Thank you, Jo.
And team, take care. Thank you for listening. Bye.